Your thoughts when you heard that Luke Kuechly had retired?
Man, I mean, the guy's alive and hopefully he's well, but it sure felt like that was it. You know, people told me when I was playing that NFL players, football players die twice, you know, and man, I was sad. You know, I was sad that we wouldn't get to watch him anymore. I was really, my heart ached for him when I saw the video, because I know, you know, any NFL player that's ever had to utter those words, I'm going to retire from football. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do it. It's hard to watch somebody else do it. So, look, I don't really even know Luke Kuechly personally, but I feel like I do, just from, you know, watching him in the NFL, and that was painful. It hurt. It was also, at the same time, a really brutal reminder of how violent the game is, and how hard it can be physically when you're taking those beatings. And listen, nobody takes a bigger beating than running backs and middle linebackers.
Well, your job calls for a collision on every play. As you know, you being an offensive lineman, your collisions are tighter. You're still having a collision. You know, the linebacker he's looking for contact. Not the other. You know, not a lot of other positions are going, boy, I'm looking for a car crash here. And I did talk to a Hall of Fame defensive player yesterday who said in the last year and a half, Luke Kuechly was not bringing the contact that he once did, that he was trying to play differently, and that's when it's time to retire, because, you know, that's just not who you are. And I think that Luke Kuechly realized that, you know what, I don't need to have a collision on every play, but that's the position I'm playing in. So I wasn't surprised.
I watched a couple plays this morning, actually, just kind of, you know, from this season, and I think it seemed like there were times where he would come up, and early on in his career, he made that tackle and didn't even think twice about it. And there were times this season, just from watching a couple plays, that it seemed like he was hesitant to come up and run through the tackle like he had been before. And if that's showing up on film, imagine what's going on in his mind at that moment as he's coming up to make the tackle. Do I turn my head to the right? Do I turn to the left? I don't want to, you know, he was trying to protect himself from the concussions, and it was clearly affecting his play. So, you know, the one thing we know about those, and you actually used the proper word, because people say football is a contact sport. It's not a contact sport. Basketball is a contact sport. Football is a collision sport. Mm-hmm. And the collisions, what we know now, which we didn't know 10, 15 years ago, collisions are cumulative, and those impacts, they add up, and it's not just one hit that creates the damage, it's the cumulative effect of it.
But how do you know you're okay, Shaun?
I don't. You know, I mean, if you ask my wife, she'd probably say I'm not.
But do you care to know? If I said you could find out, because I know that you can't, I don't know if they can test for CTE yet while somebody's still alive, but, you know, how concerned are you about, you know, the aftershocks?
You know, I'll say this: there's much more concern on the other end. You know, once you've retired and you start to take assessment of, you know, what you've just put your body through. You know, you start just kind of thinking about long term. And, you know, look, I'll say this: there aren't many 27, 28-year-olds in any workforce that are thinking about, boy, how am I going to feel when I'm 40? You know, I mean, at 27, 28, people are grinding away, you know, trying to make a career in some way, shape, or form. So you're not thinking about that long term, but it's definitely a thought. And when you retire from football, you start thinking about, man, you know, all of a sudden my back is really bothering me. And it's like, you know what? Okay, all those years of you know, doing this or that has a cumulative effect. I think the brain aspect of it, we have all changed the way that we think of it. Now something you may just say, well, you know, yeah, I forgot my keys, or you know, hear guys talking about, look, I've got some anxiety issues, or I'm having mood swings. It used to just be, well, you know, you're just getting crotchety, and you're just a dad with 3 kids. But now it's, you know, you kind of start thinking, all right, is this more? And I think as a player, I think sending guys to the doctor to find out what's going on upstairs, that's tough. That's a tough conversation. But I do think that now with medicine, and there are ways that you can try to, help the brain heal. If you are suffering from CTE or if you're showing early signs of this stuff, there are things you can take. There are supplements. There are procedures and things that you can do to kind of help regenerate some of that tissue. So I would definitely be an advocate for trying to find out how we can help that out and try to find some improvement there.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV, stream for free on BR Live, or download the Dan Patrick Show app.